And we are live. Hello, everyone. This hour on Verling, the next in my Business Basics series, I'm going to be talking about what we'll be doing today in Business Basics, but it's basically a follow-up of the reading we did on Monday. If you weren't in the Monday class, don't worry. You'll catch up really quickly, and maybe we'll do a little review to bring you up to date. Before we begin, let me first do a quick introduction, and then I'll share the material with you, and then say hello to you, and we'll get started. So first of all, let me get my name on the screen. There we go. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, coming at you from Lisbon, Portugal, to bring you this class. Quick reminder, if you click on the link in the Verbling chat window, it'll take you to my profile page where you can click follow, and you'll be notified of all my upcoming group classes. As well, you can schedule a private tutoring class or package with me, and I'll work with you on a personalized learning plan to help get you to your goals as soon as possible. So that's a little bit about me. In today's class, we're going to this is a class about important inventions that we probably now take for granted. So we read an article on Monday that talked about some of these common technologies, things that we use every day that we don't think about. What we're going to do is discuss which inventions you could or could not live without, and decide whether the kind of innovation that happened at the time is possible today. Maybe we can do a little activity at the end where we decide what to do with some venture capital if we would fund an idea, maybe one that you have or one that you have heard of. So we'll get a chance to use some of the key vocabulary. Okay, let me just share the material with you. You can see the link right now in the chat window. There we go. And I'll put it on screen as well. There you go. Okay, and let me just say hello to everyone, and we will get started. So first of all, quick welcome back to Giancarlo from last hour. Welcome back, Giancarlo.
Thank you, John. Good morning.
So Giancarlo, you're going to, at the end of class, you're going to figure out what to do with $32 billion from Prince bin Talal. Maybe that would be a good way to decide.
Imagine. There are too many zeros, John. There are too many zeros. Imagine what can we do with that kind of money.
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Also, sorry, my voice is going. Let me say welcome to Anna Carolina. How are you today, Anna?
Hello, teacher. Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Very good, very good. Also, we have Min. Hello, Min. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. A bit cold here.
A bit cold? Where are you?
I'm in Melbourne.
You're in where? Sorry?
Melbourne, Australia.
You're in Melbourne, Australia?
Yep.
What are you doing there?
I'm on holiday.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
on holiday. I will be here, yeah, a few days.
Okay, very good, very good. Where are you from originally?
I come from Vietnam.
It's not cold in Vietnam, is it?
No, it's not. I know, but I'm from the north, from northern Vietnam, so we also have 4 seasons. We have winter too, but not now though.
Ah, I see. So
yeah.
you got tired of the nice weather in Vietnam, and you went to cold Melbourne, Australia. Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
Very good. It's a good vacation. Very good. Well, it's kind of hot where I am right now, too. Maybe I'll join you later.
Yeah.
Let's see. And Mr. Saiban. Hello, Mr. Saiban. How are you today?
Fine. Thank you, teacher. How you doing?
Very good, very good. Okay, well, we'll probably have a few other people join us, but let's get started anyway. So look, the web of ideas. I think, Mr. JC, you were the only one here on Monday, right? I think you're the only one. You read this on Monday with us, didn't you? JC stands for Giancarlo.
Yes, John. Yes, I did.
All right. So, whoops, that was very loud. So, Mr. Giancarlo, what was the web of ideas that was referred to? Can you fill everyone in a little bit on what we read about?
Yes, we were talking about the inventions and the people who invented something in the past, and we were talking about the things we may invent nowadays in order to be a better planet in general. I think I
And what
think so.
was, yeah, I don't know if you remember what web of ideas referred to specifically. If you do, you can talk about it. But what were some of these ideas that we take for granted that we talked about in the article? Do you remember?
Yes, yes, we were talking about WWW, Web, television,
World Wide Web,
World Wide Web,
right?
uh, television, Kevlar, elevator, the
That's
nylon,
right.
transistors,
All of those
air,
things, very good. Good
yeah,
memory.
air conditioning,
Eh,
and yes,
That's it, that's it. Everyone, take a look at this. Um, Tell me if you know something about technology. Tell me if you can, if you weren't here on Monday, if you can pick out who these inventors are and what they invented. Giancarlo already knows. But do you recognize any names on that list, class? I guess the answer is no. Not even number 8? That's the one that I think you would all know, number 8. Mr. Tim Berners-Lee. Sound familiar, anyone? Besides Giancarlo, who knows the answers?
Mm.
No?
I know Philo Farnsworth,
I
and
knew
who
that one too.
invented
What did
the he invented television.
he invented the television, right? I knew that one too. I don't know how I knew, but the name sounded really familiar. So that is correct. Philo, I don't know if it's Philo or Philo. I don't know how to say his name, but it sounded familiar. I think I said Philo. Absolutely, television. There's one name I want to draw your attention to because I think it's important. Look at number 6, Stephanie Kwolek. Stephanie Kwolek. That's the most different name on the list. It's also the only woman on the list. Want to take a wild guess what Stephanie Kwolek invented, class? Besides Giancarlo, who knows the answer. What did the only woman on the list invent? Want to take a guess?
Did you have any clue for us?
Then nylon.
Nylon is a good guess. You're close. There is a clue, Min. The clue is maybe her last name.
Kevlar.
Kevlar.
And
Kevlar.
what is that? What is that? What is number C? I don't know what it is.
Giancarlo knows. What's Kevlar, Giancarlo? What does it do?
well, I think the Kevlar is a kind of vest made of a special fiber in order to protect the people. For example, bodyguards, they wear it in order not to be shot.
Ah,
Uh-huh.
okay. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So Kevlar is not the vest. Kevlar is the fiber. And that was invented by the only woman listed here, Stephanie Kwolek. And the name looks a little bit like her last name. So, and by the way, she just died. She just passed away last year. And also, one other interesting thing, sorry about the background noise, one other interesting thing is that she's like, as far as inventions go, she's probably the most recent. Okay, the internet is more recent, but the internet is a little different because it's more of an application of technology. But she's really an inventor, and that was like I think it was 1956 or something like that. By the way, Anna, you mentioned nylon. It wasn't Stephanie Kwolek, but what can you say about nylon? Without having read the article, you might not know who invented it, but do you know what the original purpose of nylon was? out of curiosity? Or do you want to make an educated guess? And then maybe, Giancarlo, you can set us straight. Want to make a guess about what nylon was originally invented for?
I have no
Uh,
idea.
are you asking who, teacher?
I'm asking you, because you mentioned nylon.
Okay, but me. Okay, I have no idea either.
Well, we normally...
Maybe
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. I don't know.
Because when you say nylon, what comes to mind today? What do we use nylon for, Anna?
Um, for swimming suits and working out clothes.
Yeah, exactly. Nylon stockings or something like that. Right. Giancarlo, do you remember who was the inventor of nylon in this list?
No, John, I don't remember.
It's not a household name at all. This was Wallace Carruthers, which is where is he? Number 7. Yeah, number 7. Wallace Carruthers. And the only thing that it really said was that, interestingly, they both, Kevlar and nylon, both came from the same place, which was the DuPont company, which is a company that's basically based on oil and petroleum products. So it goes on to say that in the 20th century, innovation came to be more associated more and more with specific companies. Wallace Carruthers, for example, invented nylon at DuPont in 1935, and I thought it mentioned the reason, but I'm looking at the paragraph and I don't see it now, because I thought it had something to do with trying to create tires that were more durable or something like that, but now I don't see it in the article. Okay, well, the important thing here, the stories are interesting, and you can certainly read them on your own after class by downloading the presentation. We've already talked about them. But the important thing is what we think about innovation and what we think about these kind of everyday taken for granted technologies like the internet, television, Kevlar. You might not think about Kevlar, but your police force probably does. What about the lift? Elevators. We don't even think about those anymore.
I know, right?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Elisha Ots. Because there is a elevator brand called Ots.
There's a brand of elevator called Otis?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. In fact, I forgot that was the inventor. So Giancarlo, you read the article. Do you remember the elevator part? I'm just taking a quick look. I don't see it. Television, the airplane. Oh my goodness, I can't find it. Let me see if I can do a quick search. Do you remember the story of the elevator, Giancarlo?
No, not exactly.
Here we go. It was in the beginning. Alicia Otis and William Carrier are now the two New Yorkers. I gotta skip forward. Sorry. Otis, who died in 1861, Carrier was born in 1876. They were very much connected. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, wait, where is it here? Let me go forward.
1, 2, 3. In the fourth paragraph, the Burj Khalifa.
Ah, there we go. Thank you. That's it. Yeah. The Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world, has a total of 57 lifts. But I wanted just to trace it back to
3.
Alicia Otis.
I think it's paragraph 3. It talks about no, it talks about the weather condition. Okay.
It doesn't really. Oh, there we go. It's the next one. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of this brings us back to Alicia Otis, who developed the lift in 1853, and Willis Carrier, who invented air conditioning. The ability to control temperatures and construct smart buildings is shaping increasingly global, urban, and vertical face of the 20th century. It doesn't really tell us much about it. But anyway, there you go. So I wanted to jump forward. I'm going to skip the comprehension, but you can do this on your own if you'd like to read the article, and then I'd be happy to give you the answers. I would like to talk about some business collocations, however. That's kind of useful. So in the article, you were exposed to this, but maybe, just by working together for a minute, we could also clarify what the answers are. So let's take a look at these business collocations in part 4, and let's see if we can try to match them up. So I'm going to say a word on the left. You tell me what it matches with on the right. If you just give me just a second here. Ooh, that's very loud. Okay, let me just go back here to the screen. Okay.
Excuse me,
Okay.
may I ask you a question first before we start?
Go for it.
So can we just shout out if we know the answer, or we have to wait? Like speak in order. I don't know the rule.
No,
Sorry.
there's no rules.
Okay,
It's a small group, so we can just talk normally like human beings.
Thanks. Okay, I got it.
So if there's a big class, then I have to call on you in order, but it's small.
Yeah.
So look at the two columns. We've got the left, we've got trading, international, daily, aviation, cloud, protective, software, human. On the right, engineer, clothing, marketplace, center, spelled in British English, because it's RE instead of ER, operations, talent, data, innovation. All of these came up in the article, but let's see how many you know. So the first one is, give me just a second because I need to open something on my computer first, and I can't find it. Give me just a second. Here we go. So you should match the business words, and if you can, maybe just Giancarlo, if you can remember what it related to, then let us know. Okay, so number one is trading. Does anyone know what the best collocation would be? Maybe Giancarlo, this one you might remember. I'll take that as a no. So we had, I'll do the example for you. We had trading center, which came up in the introduction. You can see it here. First paragraph. Second paragraph, sorry. Look at the bottom. Giancarlo, can you just read the bottom where it says the best place?
Yes. There are many reasons from there.
Uh,
The best place to learn about their impact is an extraordinary steel and glass tower in a Persian Gulf emirate that has transformed itself from a regional trading center into an international marketplace in less than a generation.
Okay, so trading center is one of these collocations. That means word pattern, a trading center. And they're talking about the Burj Khalifa, this tallest building in the world. So trading center is the first collocation.
Trading center, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What about number two? What do you think is the best match? International? Any guesses?
International marketplace.
Yeah, it just came up in the article, right?
Oh.
You're right. International marketplace. We just read it, in fact. Okay. Number three is daily.
No.
I'll give you a hint. This has to do with what companies or businesses, how and what they do every day to run their business.
Daily innovation.
Well, companies don't.
Operations.
Yeah, it's operations. Companies don't innovate every day, but they do operate every day. So number 3 would be the daily operations of a company. And this was used to talk about business in the Burj Khalifa skyscraper in Dubai. That's where it came up in the article. Number 4 is aviation. What do you think is the best match with aviation here?
Engineer.
Aviation engineer?
Yeah.
Could be. That's not a bad guess. I guess we'd probably say flight engineer rather than aviation engineer. So it's not the right answer because the normal collocation is flight engineer. Okay, but very good guess. I'll give you a little hint. In the article, this came up. This was used to talk about the progress in planes and flying. So this was used to talk about progress in the industry, the airline industry. So therefore, the match would be aviation.
Innovation.
It's got to be innovation if it's talking about progress. That's right. Okay, so that was number 4. Cloud. In the article, this was used to talk about it was used to talk about one use for transistors, which is one of the things that came up in the article. Movement to microelectronics or transistors. In fact, if I can find the passage, I will read the passage to you. Let's see. Let's see if I can say it without giving it away. Yeah. The invention, okay, the paragraph on the transistor. These inventions are just a few examples of everyday items containing transistors. They talked about how transistors sent mankind to the moon, built small yet powerful computers, could construct small and efficient hearing aids, and many more things. All of these technologies are in our personal computers, smartphones, tablets, or in cloud what? Think about the places where we store information. Cloud what?
Is it cloud data?
Is it cloud data? It is. It's cloud data centers, actually, is the right word. Okay?
Yep.
Let me see if I can go back there. So, whoops. So, I'm opening something on my computer. Give me just a second. 1 second. Okay. So that was, and on your screen, that should be G, right? Yeah. Cloud data. Maybe it would be better to say cloud data center, actually, to be a little more clear. Because we talk about storing information in the cloud. Okay, and just to finish up, 6, 7, and 8. 6. For 6, which is protective, we use this collocation to talk about Kevlar.
Clothing.
Protective clothing. So the answer is B, protective clothing, because it's a fiber. Okay? Software, number 7, this was used in the article to talk about the profession of the inventor of the World Wide Web. Mr. JC, you were here. Who invented the World Wide Web? Do you remember the guy's name? Go back to this list for a second. Do you remember who it was? Giancarlo, do you remember? Giancarlo was asleep. No one? Going once? Going twice? The answer is number 8. Tim Berners-Lee is credited with the World Wide Web in 1989. He was working at the CERN in Switzerland as a particle physicist, and to build on ideas in computing, he decided to try to implement some ideas where you could collect knowledge from a group of people. That eventually became the World Wide Web. So, Number 7 was used to talk about Tim Berners-Lee and about the profession of the inventor of the World Wide Web, about his profession. So the answer would be, what was his profession, basically? It's true that he was a physicist because he worked at the CERN, but specifically, what do we call someone who creates software? What do we call that kind of a person? What kind of profession do you think that is?
Engineer.
It's got to be. It's the only profession word. So number 7 is software engineer. Okay, and that leaves us with human. The word human in the article was used to talk about how the internet is able to expand. This one could be a little bit confusing, so let me just see if I can give you the context. This talks in the very beginning, this talks about, back to Alicia Otis, who developed the lift in 1853, the ability to control temperatures and construct smart buildings is shaping the increasingly global, urban, vertical face of the 20th century. But without the interconnected web of human blank, human something, that is spread across the globe, this progress would not have been possible. So what word connects with human that has to do with, what did I just say? Human, the capacity to create, basically. There's only one word left.
Yeah, it's human talent.
Human talent. Let's see if that's what I had, because I lost track now. I lost track. F. What is F? F is talent. Yeah, you're right. I was going to say human innovation, but you're right. Human talent. And so the context was how the internet is able to expand. Let me just go back to that for a second. Maybe I got the wrong context. Give me a second. Yeah, no, it is. It was actually with Tim Berners-Lee. I read the wrong part. As a constantly expanding multimedia platform, the internet, based on human talent, ingenuity, and initiative, can be argued to be the greatest innovation in human history. Okay, so those are some collocations. These expressions were also useful. They came up in the article. You don't have to dwell on this if you haven't read it, but if you recognize any of these, you might want to mention them. So if you recognize any of these expressions, just let me know. Any of them stand out for you? So we have opens its doors. We have marches on. Tell me if you've heard these before. Simply put, on the way to becoming. Maybe marches on is the easiest of the group. There was an old, before there was TV news, there was something called On the March, a newsreel. And they would always say at the end, time marches on. So, and in the context of the article, let's see if I can find it. Marches. The context of the article, it's in the television paragraph. It says, Neil Postman, which is an academic from America, wrote one of the harshest analyses of the television industry, called Amusing Ourselves to Death. But it marches on. A recent trend is binge viewing, where people watch an entire TV series in one go. So they're talking about media history. When Philo Farnsworth filed a patent for the first television in 1927, one of the most powerful forms of mass media was created. Then it talks about the critics. So what does it mean that the medium marches on in this case? It marches on. or time marches on. Does that make sense?
Yes, it means continues.
It means continues. It means progresses.
Yeah.
So marches on, continues to progress. If I say to you, the company opens its doors on the 21st, what is the company doing that it hasn't done before? I could also say, with the new legislation, for example, I don't know, in America they passed marriage equality. So the federal government has opened its doors to equal rights for same-sex couples. It's opened its doors. So what has the government done? What has it done now that it hadn't done before? In other words, what does opens its doors means?
They approve.
Approve, exactly. To open its doors is to approve for the first time. Exactly. The company opens its doors on the 21st. It's inaugurating a new branch of the company, and it's physically letting people in for the first time. With the Marriage Equality Act, it is approving this for the first time, allowing people to enter the system. So it always has something to do with allowing people that were not allowed in, allowing them to come in to something, literally or virtually. Those two are pretty good. Simply put is something we use to say that you're going to say things in other words. Simply put, in the article, it was in the transistor paragraph. Let me see if I can put that on the screen for you quickly. The transistor paragraph here on the left side. In 1956, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to John Bardeen, Walter Brittain, and William Shockley for creating the transistor, one of the most important discoveries of the 20th century. Simply put, a transistor is a semiconductor device that strengthens and switches electronic signals. Simply put. Can anyone think of a synonym for simply put? What's another way to say that? Simply put.
In other words.
Good. In other words, or simply put. So that's another expression you can use besides in other words. And the last expression on the way to becoming, why don't we take a look at that? What is it? It's on the way. Okay. Let me see if I can give you a quick example of that from the article, On the Way to Becoming. This comes from the internet part, which you can see on screen right now. At the very end, the last sentence, it says, it is on the way to becoming part of everything for everyone, everywhere. So we're talking about how the internet is an expanding multimedia platform based on human talent, ingenuity, and innovation. It's the single greatest innovation in human history, more revolutionary than the personal computer or the transistor, and it is on its way to becoming part of everything for everyone, everywhere. So how else could we say on the way to becoming? Is there a synonym or another expression that means somewhat the same? Any ideas?
Can I say in progress?
It makes sense. In progress. But in progress means it's happening right now in the moment of speaking. So it's in progress, and it usually has to do with something, I don't know, like yeah. For some reason it doesn't quite fit. It makes sense, but it doesn't quite fit. Like we can't interrupt the trial. We can't interrupt the transmission. It's in progress right now. Don't go into that room. They're filming. It's in progress. So we can use it, but in another context. Maybe I could say it is in the process. it's in the process, or it's in the middle of changing. It's on the way to becoming, it's in the middle of changing. It's in the middle of developing, something like that. Okay, so those are some collocations and some expressions that came up in the article. I just wanted to clarify them. Now over to you. I want you to think of, it says 3, but it doesn't have to be 3. I want you to try to think of an invention that you would add to the list, something that you think we take for granted today. As you can see, if you can, write them in the correct place depending on when they're invented. Well, let's see how many ideas we can come up with first. Think about it for a minute and tell me, besides the television, nylon, World Wide Web, the transistor, what else do you think we might be taking for granted that was an innovation of its day? So think about that. Maybe we can brainstorm a little bit. Any ideas?
Maybe electricity.
Electricity itself is pretty important. You can do a little test, which is think about what your life would be like without it. Give me a second here.
I mean, electricity, many people take it for granted.
Right, right.
Uh-huh.
No, I completely agree with you. I completely agree. That's what I'm saying. Think about what your life would be like without it, and then you know if it should be on the list. Let me put this on the screen for a second. Let's put your ideas there. Okay. So the first we're going to put is. Oh, I got to make this a little bit smaller. 18. Let me get a font that's not too crazy. Okay. Electricity. Okay. Some other ideas besides electricity. What else could we say?
Plastic money, John. Maybe plastic cards.
Credit.
Credit cards, yeah.
Yeah. Not even credit cards. Would you think credit cards specifically are important, or just credit? We'll put credit cards. It's fine. We'll talk about each of these in a second. Any other ideas? Think about your culture. Think about what your grandparents had to go through and versus what you go through.
Ball pens.
What is it?
A pen.
Are you trying to say ballpoint pens?
Yes. I think
Ball
that's how to say it.
point pens. Very interesting. I didn't think about that. It's a pretty good idea. It must have been pretty difficult to write with quills. Difficult
With what? I know.
quills like this. Feathers, in other words. Okay. Anything else? I've got one for you.
Verbally.
Verbally. Okay. I've got one for you. The sewing machine. There's my invention. Why do you think the sewing machine was a revolution of its day? This is my idea, so I can tell you what I think, but tell me if you agree with me. Do you think the sewing machine is an important invention? Or do you think it's something that, we could live without, not a big deal?
No, I don't think we can live without it. Especially now we buy a lot of mass-produced clothing. Yes.
Absolutely. So it's important because it's hand-making clothing for 7 billion people on the planet. That would not be easy.
Teacher?
Yeah.
Can I add another invention?
Please do.
I don't know if is it listed as an invention, but I will say the capability of
the ability.
The ability. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
the ability of humankind
Hmm.
to, to transplant head or the head of human.
Ah, well, how about just transplants in general?
Okay, transplant head,
Yeah.
specific head to be more specific because it's very challenging surgery, especially for Dr. Carnavaro, the Italian who gave a speech in the TED, explain everything.
But it's not possible to do, is it?
Yeah, he tried on the mouse, and he was successful for mouse, and he say by 2017 he did. I mean, there's a volunteer, Russian scientist. He decided to be volunteer. His body is I don't know what do you call it in the English, when your body you cannot move your body. There's what do you
Your
call it?
the word is paralyzed. Paralyzed.
Paralyzed.
Yeah.
So he I mean he had paralyzed. He has paralyzed.
He,
So
he he is paralyzed.
okay, he is paralyzed. He decided to be a first volunteer for this surgery, but he is waiting for Dr. Carnavaro to get prepared, and he say he's going to do this surgery by 2017.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you can watch this on TED, www.ted.com, Dr. Carnavaro, the Italian guy.
Hmm. Is this the same guy that is, because cloning was first done in Italy, I think, right? Like, they broke the conventions and they did. Is this the guy that claimed to do human cloning? Is this the same guy in Italy?
No, I think this guy is different. He's a doctor,
Hmm.
but I think he's different.
Because there seems to be a lot of controversial things happening there. Well,
Yes.
let's go back and see if we all agree with these ideas. In fact, I'd like I'd like us to rate these in terms of importance, and then maybe we can see why these are important and if we all agree. What out of this group? I want you all to give a number. Well, actually, let me see. Which of these do you think is the number one? I'm going to put a little mark next to this, and we'll take a vote. Which do you think is the number one most important? Okay, let's ask you. Anna, what would you say is the most important out of this group that we just mentioned? Hello, Anna?
Hi. The most important invention ever.
Well, out of this group that we named, or if you can think of another one, you can add it.
In my opinion, the most important invention ever was the wheel. Because
What's the wheel?
yes, without the wheel, we wouldn't have all those things nowadays. But I am very enticed by the stem cells, and I hope that they can research further about it.
About stem cells.
Yes.
Ah, yeah. Well, that was banned in the United States when Bush was president.
Unfortunately, because people are biased, I don't know they allow fertilization clinics,
Right.
and I don't know the difference. They throw away a lot of embryos in
Uh-huh.
fertilization clinics. It is just a bias in my eyes.
Hmm. Well, stem cell research became legal under Obama, but it was basically illegal under Bush for those 8 years. Uh, and stem cell research is kind of amazing because no one understands, as far as I know, how it works. They just seem to magically form, all kinds of things, by just implanting them. It's kind of amazing. So yeah, very interesting. Um, let's talk about our ideas for a second. So you talked a bit about stem cells. I'll give you a quick example. I mentioned sewing machine because I have a feeling that this had a lot to do with women's rights. I say this because one of my students mentioned this in a class, and it made me think. Without the sewing machine, she said, this is what stopped women from having to do basically hard labor. This made me think. So now I think about that. Maybe the sewing machine had more to do with equality than mass production. So that's why I named it. Giancarlo, tell me about credit cards. Why do you think that that's an important invention that we take for granted?
I mention credit cards because nowadays all the world is connected and people travel from country to country, and the money must be managed from place to place. Imagine uh, carry a bag full of bills or coins, trying to buy a car. Uh, it's not possible. So credit cards are practical in order to make business.
Absolutely. So I'm going to say something like currency-less payments for the first time.
Currency-less payments. Currency-less payments. Yes,
Something
John.
like that.
Yes.
I don't know if I just invented a word or not, so I'll put a little thing there. But absolutely. In fact, if you read the news, then you know that there's a huge scandal about international credit because a small group of people were controlling the interest rates. One of them just got sentenced to jail, and it had to do with basically what the world would pay for credit in transactions. If you want to look it up, it's called the LIBOR scandal. I'm just saying it because in the news today, the first person got indicted for it, but it's got to do with exactly what you're talking about. The LIBOR is the rate at which banks can basically assign credit. And I don't know just about credit cards, but companies have to borrow money several times a day. Huge companies, they have to be able to cover. It's necessary for them to run their massive operations. So it's hard to imagine the modern world without credit. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Ms. Min, talk about
Yes.
ballpoint pens. What's your idea with pens? Why is that something that we take for granted today?
Because I think that invention is such a very small and insignificant invention. Appears in also a very ordinary things like just a pen we use. So I think that's the reason why we take for granted. But it's very important compared to like as you mentioned before. We have to use quill
Yes.
or we have to use pencils.
And why do you think what makes this important? Why can't we just use pencils and quills? Why is this so important, do you think?
So we are able to write faster. Anything we can do faster, then it will increase the our productivity. Also, using quills would be very messy, and if talking about pencils, then I would like to take accounting for example. When you want to correct some mistake, I think the tax officer doesn't want to erase it, but
Right.
they want to cross it. So they want to see the original mistake and the one we added. So, if we don't have ballpoint pens, then we can't do this. We use pencil, then we just erase them.
Right. So
Then
to make
yeah,
the writing permanent as well.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
permanent. Yeah.
Very good. And Anna Carolina, you already mentioned that there's a big bias against stem cell research, which I forgot to write down. By the way, Anna, why is it important? Since you mentioned it, there's a big bias against it, but why do you think it's one of the most important things that we take for granted today?
Because a friend of mine
Mhm.
had a son
Huh?
who has diabetes, and he was invited to participate in a trial,
Right?
and she was afraid of allowing,
Right?
and then uh, she regretted it because uh, everyone who participated could get the rid of insulin, and some of them uh, got the rid of diabetes.
Some of them were diabetes free at
Some
the
of
end.
them become diabetes free, and some of
Wow.
them could uh, stop using insulin and just having to follow a diet, you know,
Right. Right. Right.
who didn't cure uh, got better,
Hmm. That's
and
amazing.
then she was regretful because when she saw all paperwork and liabilities and so on, uh, she was afraid because she thought, oh no, he can die, you know,
Hmm.
but no one died. It was good for everyone who participated. Just the group that had received placebo,
Right. Placebo.
uh, yes, didn't improve.
Very, very interesting. And how old were these kids? What was the age group?
Uh, they they chose people from all ages, and the boy is 11.
11 years old. Oh, I thought they maybe had to be really young or something. Oh, that's very interesting. Wow, that's kind of amazing. Um, well, I'd like to, we're running down on time here. So what I'd like to do is go to the discussion. We've talked about some ideas that could be on the list, why they're important. But in our discussion, as you can see, I'll point to it here, um, which of the inventions has the greatest impact on your life? In other words, what I'm really curious about is which of these do you think that you most take for granted? Which of these, any of them, from the article or from the ones we mentioned, do you think has the greatest impact? Well, we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but we can still give an opinion. In the end, as a class, we're going to decide this. If we could only keep 3 of the inventions mentioned, either in the article or just now, which 3 would they be? Maybe we should focus on that because we're running a little bit out of time. Okay? So, imagine for a second, you have to make a choice. We're going to go into space, leave the planet Earth, and we can only bring 3 inventions with us, and we have to leave all the other ones behind. Which 3 would you choose? See if you can make a little argument to defend your opinion. Saiban, which 3 do you think that we've mentioned today are the ones that you would keep? And remember, the ones that we don't keep are gone. So if you keep credit cards, you might have to lose ballpoint pens. Think about that. Which 3 would
Okay,
you keep?
teacher. Okay, first of all, I will keep transplant hate. It's very interesting thing, and the second it will be the credit cards and electricity electricity.
Electricity. Oh,
Okay,
oh, there's a spelling mistake there. Sorry. Fix
no,
it.
I'm sorry. Okay, electricity.
No, but there's a spelling
Okay.
mistake. Sorry. Electricity. Sorry, my fault. There you go.
Okay, so these three one has a really affected, or I mean affection, or let's say affect the human being's life, and the reason, as you know, especially that transplant transplant. It is something very, very amazing. I mean, if Dr. Carnavaro be successful with this guy that I just put in the put links in the chat box. If you just watch his interview, it's very amazing. That will be very, very, I mean, relevant. I mean, will be something very new in the human being history. I mean, human being life. It will be
We would
something
say
very
revolutionary.
okay. It will be revolutionary. Yeah, this is the word that I am looking for. This will be a revolutionary in the human being's life. Yeah.
So your vote is for transplants, specifically head transplants,
Yeah. Yeah.
electricity, and what was the other one?
And credit cards.
And credit cards.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we also have from the article, we have television also. Maybe I should put these there so you can see all the choices. Don't forget from the article, put it here, article, we
Okay.
also have television, we have the internet, World Wide Web, we have elevators, we have, there was what, 6 or 8 of these? We have the personal computer. I'm just going to put PC for that. We have nylon and Kevlar. Nylon and Kevlar. Giancarlo, did I miss anything?
Transistor.
Oh, transition. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, a transistor. Yeah.
Is that everything?
And then
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
Oh, right, good, yes. Air conditioning. Okay,
Hot air
somebody
balloon.
has.
Airplane.
Oh, yeah, I missed the last one. Okay, give me a second. Let me spread this out a little so we can get them all in one place. Give me a second here. Okay, Kevlar, comma. So I can move this down. Hot air balloon. What else did I miss?
That's all, I think.
That's it?
Yeah.
TV, web, hot air balloon, transistor. Okay, so those are some other choices down there. Sorry, I don't have a lot of space on the screen. Okay?
may I change my opinion, teacher?
You may.
I mean, because I didn't. Okay, I didn't see them. Okay, so I guess credit card it's not that much important. As much as the internet. So the internet, or what should World Wide Web.
Right.
Yeah. So I will vote for. I will just change credit card with a World Wide Web. I mean,
Okay,
I think
so you've got
yeah.
www, you've got transplant, or specifically the head transplant, and for that,
Yes.
now here's the problem that I see with that. If we had to leave planet Earth and go to Mars, we'd have a real problem because without air conditioning, we'd all freeze to death on the trip over, Saiban.
Okay, but I will still keep my keep voting for these three that I just already. Mentioned.
I know, but it makes you think, doesn't it? Because whatever you choose, we have to eliminate the others, so it makes you think. Min, what would you choose? We've got to stop in just a minute, but let's see if I can get all of you to give your votes. What would you choose?
Yeah, but I've been thinking about I just choose and I still stay on the earth, so I would choose electricity, World Wide Web, and sewing machine. And the reason why I vote for electricity and sewing machine because they meet our they provide our basic needs, and World Wide Web that would be a means to spread the knowledge all over the world, and from that base I think the other invention will there will be other people invent other inventions. So yeah, that's
So
my thought.
it'll give the human race a chance to rebuild if we need
Yes,
it.
Yes,
Okay,
that's what I mean. Thanks for that.
very good. Okay, and finally, Giancarlo, what would you say? What are you going to vote for?
Electricity, the internet or internet, and I am not sure about the head transplants because I am not sure if I would like to have another one's head. but
Well,
but
they're
maybe
voluntary. No one's gonna force you to put on someone else's head. They're voluntary.
okay. Yeah, and well, maybe elevators, just to
Maybe
say something.
elevators.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Why are elevators important?
Well, because nowadays people are building skyscrapers and business centers in those buildings.
Skyscrapers.
Sky,
Scrape.
skyscrapers. No,
Scrapers. Right.
skyscrapers.
No creeper. Scraper.
Skyscrapers.
Right.
Right.
So we need elevators.
Yeah.
For what? But maybe that's the problem. Maybe if we didn't have elevators, we'd all be underground, and we'd have more of a connection to nature, and we'd have less carbon emissions. Because if we're not vertical, we don't need air conditioning. Because if you're underground, you're insulated. So maybe elevators are the problem, Giancarlo. Have you thought about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe in a certain way, you're right.
I'm not an expert. Just an idea. Okay. We've actually got to stop now. Hopefully this has given you some food for thought. Okay. If you'd like to work on the other activities in the presentation, just download it, and I'll be happy to put the answers there for you to correct, so you can correct yourself. If you have questions or comments, send me a message in the message window, and I'll be happy to help. Okay? I'll be back tomorrow. What is tomorrow? So it's Thursday, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
Thursday.
from 12 to 2 GMT, like today. We're going to be doing part 2 of our speaking skills class first. Remember speaking skills, Giancarlo, from Tuesday?
I don't remember now, John.
I think you were in the class. I think you were. It was how to talk about your education. But,
Yeah.
So we're going to give everyone a chance, based on what we learned before, we're going to give everyone a chance to talk about their route to a career. And we'll review the little map that we made in the beginning of class to give everyone a model. After that, at 1 GMT, it's going to be Grammar Garage. I don't yet have a topic picked for that, but we've been working on conditionals, so I have to see what we're going to do from there. But I'll write it up as a description. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
See you.
tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.